What's up, everyone? Eli here, back for a new stuff video. Got a pretty cool assortment of things here, some shit that I picked up at local stores, and some Discogs orders. So a lot of it's random, kind of not really thought out, assortments of shit. But some of it's kind of cool because I went through this weird phase where I was on the Redstream Records Discogs page, and he had a bunch of stuff that I was into in like the early 2000s that I haven't heard in a long time. So I kind of went on this nostalgia spree. Most of that being black metal. Me being the age that I am, I got into black metal. I'm gonna say probably when I was about 19 years old, so about 2001. And so yeah, it's cool. I went through and got a bunch of the albums that I was listening to around that time, early to mid 2000s. And really haven't heard since then. Like, I didn't ever manage to score copies of these until now. So, anyway, pretty cool. Got a couple of 2020 releases. I know it's now 2021, but I'm just going to show these first anyways. We'll start with the Nucleus album by Deeds of Flesh. Came out on Unique Leader Records. As you might know, their guitarist and vocalist Eric Lindquist died, and I think it was back in 2019. Really fucking cool artwork in this one, by the way. There's a plethora of, since he died, there's a plethora of guest vocalists on this album, including like Corpse Grinder Fisher from Cannibal Corpse, Maddie Way from Pathology, and a John Gallagher from Dying Fetus, and a couple other dudes too. So I've heard good things about the album. I don't have a lot of Deeds of Flesh. I have two of their earlier albums that I do like, and I really haven't heard anything in between, so it'll be cool to kind of catch up. I know no one right now is probably really wanting to admit to liking this band, but I've been a fan for 19 or 20 years, so despite recent events, I actually picked this up before said recent events, but not that it matters. I always wanted a copy of this, and now I have one. 2020 repress of the debut self-titled Iced Earth album. Excellent power thrash metal from Florida. I never had actually seen this cover. I always knew that as the cover. So that must have been a second pressing or something, I don't know. Just cool to have the album finally, and, fuck John Schaefer, but I do like his music. This album, I wish I had bought earlier on in 2020, but I only really got it a couple weeks ago. The 2020 release, newest album from Malocarpatan, black metal out of where are they from? Slovakia. Sorry about that glare. You know what to expect. This came out on Invictus Productions and the Ajna Offensive. There's some really cool fucking cover art on the inside. They did a really, really good job with this booklet. I'll just show you some of the artwork because you might like to see it. I would actually like to have a print of that. I think that'd be fucking sick. And there's every page, or every other page has a cool piece of art. So this band writes all their lyrics based on like witchcraft and folklore from their country. So that's a really cool thing. This specific album is about the witch trials that went on went on all over the world. But us Americans, we have our version of the witch trials, but this is Slovakia. So yeah, it's just a cool topic, and regardless to all that. This next album, I do not have a lot of shit in this vein. You'll know what I mean when I show you it. Clearly, this is a brutal death metal album. This is Cranium from Norway with the Art of Female Sodomy. This is a repress from 2020. Album originally came out in 2009. It was just at one of my local stores. I've always heard good things about this band. I figured I would kind of add to my brutal death metal arsenal. This came out on Gorehouse Productions, which has been a label that the brutal death metal guys have been singing their praises. Probably the coolest thing in this entire stack, at least in my opinion, is this this Malevolent Creation demo comp put out by Vic Records. 2 discs, and they did a really fucking bang up job. Super thick booklet with all kinds of photos and liner notes, and just, this really couldn't have turned out better, I don't think. And so what you have here, you got the 87 demo, the 89 demo, the 90 demo, live at the Trash Can, Miami, Florida in 1990, and a live demo from 89 and a live EP from 93. I have not heard any of these demos, so I do have some of their early albums, but yeah, it'll be cool to dig into that. Now the stuff's just gonna kind of get a lot more random for these next few. Always heard good things about this band. I've never even heard them, to be honest, but it's a black metal from Hungary. The band is called Witcher. This is an EP. I'm not gonna attempt to say the title. Comes in a DVD box, as you can see. This came out on Rotten Crows Productions, not really a label I'm familiar with, limited to 100 copies. Like I said, I've heard really good things, and I like a good handful of black metal bands from Hungary, specifically Marvelbog and Dusk, among a few others. Of course, there's Tormentor and but yeah, check out Marvelbog and Dusk also if you haven't. This was a pretty random buy, but I kind of bought this after I saw the video on Sea of Tranquility where they did an album ranking video on this band. I don't know if I've ever heard of or heard this band before that, so before like the last couple weeks. But we have Roxy Music with the album Avalon. From what I've read, they're kind of one of those bands where they just kind of, all their albums are, sound quite different from each other, different genres and stuff like that. And this is definitely like an arty pop album. So I've listened to it a couple times. I do like it. I don't know what kind of staying power it's going to have with me, but we'll see. I also bought this radio single, not even a radio single, but just a radio promo of the Revolution Calling song, Queensryche. Of course, it's from Operation Mindcrime from 1988. This was not meant to be for sale. This was just something they would send to radio stations so they could play the song. So it's kind of cool knowing that like this disc right here was probably played on some radio station, and maybe not. It looks almost flawless, the disc. But anyway, that was the whole point of this being distributed. But did I need to own this? Absolutely not. But I do love Queensryche, so of course I'm gonna buy it. This next one is one of those albums that I'm like embarrassed to say that I didn't own previously, but that's how shit goes. You can't buy everything, up to a certain point. This is the debut album from '93 from Greek Hellenic black metal legends, Rotting Christ. We got Thy Mighty Contract. This is a 2019 Peaceville Records repress. It's got a nice booklet. It's not super thick or anything like that, but it's got some cool pictures and shit like that. It's pretty bare bones other than that, but it's just a classic fucking album that I should have bought 20 years ago. This next one might make you laugh, and that's okay. I totally get it. I've always been a pretty big Savatage fan, and I have a buddy, Chris, who was also a big Savatage fan, and he was like, dude, you gotta get Beethovens Last Night by Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's a great album. So I indeed did that, because once in a while I listen to my friends, and I picked this up. You might know Trans-Siberian Orchestra for being the band that did all the Christmas albums and all that shit, but and that's how I knew them too. I didn't know that they did non-Christmas themed music, but apparently they've actually done a lot. They just got famous for the Christmas shit, but a lot of tracks. This album is based off the life of Beethoven, of course. The lyrics are actually really detailed. I mean, look how thick that booklet is. I don't know if you can see that, but whatever. Not only does this have lyrics in there, it's got like written stories of what every song means and it's a pretty decent album. You know, it's very epic, very ambitious. If you like stuff like Camelot, you know, there's probably a good chance you'll be into this as well. It's, you know, like I said, kind of cheesy at times, but it is pretty good. It's a decent listen. I don't know if I'm gonna get any of their other albums, but time will tell. All right, now we're gonna get to the stuff I was talking about, the black metal nostalgia. This is not all black metal though; most of it is. So this album right here, I've literally wanted to get a copy almost ever since it came out, and I just never managed to. This is black metal out of Australia, Knox In Fury with Adverse Spears, or Spheres. This came out on Ruin Productions, like I said, back in 2008. Very good black metal. I've heard very, very few people talk about this. Definitely go check it out. Go give this album a listen if you can, or order a copy or something. It's fucking awesome. I think you'll thank me later, but you let me know. This is a band from Czechia, Detonator 666, with Supremacy and Tyranny. This is their second album from 2008. Just blasting, storming black metal. Nothing real special, nothing real unique. But if you like that kind of black metal, I mean, this definitely scratches the itch, and I do recommend it. As well as this one. This is black metal out of Belgium. When did this come out? 2006. We got Goat Holocaust with Satan Jugend, at least Jugend, I don't know. This came out on Infernus Rex, and as you can see, some of these copies they're promo copies. So all I have is like the front, you know, the booklet and the disc. But they were like $1 each, so I'm cool with that. They are albums, like I said, that I wanted to own anyways, so, you know, I figure I'll eventually probably pick them up again. So, you know, these are just going to hold me over until I, you know, get a better copy. So, yeah, definitely looking at Goat Holocaust. Just some more, I mean, you can tell kind of what you're getting by the cover art. You're getting blasting, violent, kind of warish black metal, but these guys do it very well. Band from my country here, Sumeria, with the album Legends. This was their debut album, actually, I think from 2003. Don't remember what record label put it out, but it sounds typical of American black metal of the time. Not real unique. You know, they're kind of playing that more or less like Gorgoroth worship, but some of the bands were doing it pretty well, and I think Sumeria would be one of them. Got it's the second album from 2001 from a Texas symphonic black metal band, Vesperian Sorrow, the Psychotic Sculpture. Look at the cover art. That's definitely some 2001 cover art. I never really liked their logo too much either. It's not too bad, I guess, but it's a good album. I mean, if you like symphonic black metal, not really of the raw variety, but of the, you know, fairly well-produced variety. This is a pretty good album. In fact, I recommend all their albums. I don't know. I always liked them anyways. Good symphonic black metal. This band out of Texas, Church of Melkarth, with the first sermon from the Church of Melkarth from 2005. This was kind of like an ambient black metal band, if I remember correctly. I probably haven't heard them since 2005, to be honest, but I remember thinking they were kind of interesting and meant to get a copy of something that they did, but only just managed to do that. Then we have out of Iran from 2008 debut album from Ekov Ifrits, Suicidal Rebirth. You guessed it. It's you know, suicidal, depressive black metal, done really well. It's a solo project. He's got some guests and everything. This guy would go on to do other albums, and he would kind of he would definitely flirt with different styles. Like, he did an album a couple years back where it's pretty much like all electronic music, like trip hop and stuff like that. And he's been experimenting, but honestly, from what I've heard, it works pretty well. But going back to this album, this is my favorite. Everything he's done to this day. Debut full length, if I remember correctly, from '99. Got U.S. black metal, maybe more like a Black Death. Forest of Impaled with Demon Void. This came out on Red Stream Records. Those are the guys that sent this to me. Always meant to pick up some of their shit. Never did until now. Got Dwayne Timlin playing drums for this band. He was in this band. I don't know if he played on this album in particular. I think he did. You might know Dwayne Timlin he's a session drummer. I haven't really heard much from him of recent, but he's done a lot of session work. And he was in Judas Iscariot for a while. He like that last album they did before the split. He was on that, and yeah, he's a fantastic drummer. Forest of Impaled. Maybe nothing that's gonna blow you away, but it's just good Black Death metal. Definitely recommend it. And I definitely recommend this one too. Also put out by Red Stream. It came out in 2000. This was their second album. German band. I'd say more melodic death metal, maybe some black metal influences. But we got Violation. Very hypocrisy looking logo. Moonlight's Child. Pretty cool cover art. And good band, good album. If you're into melodic death metal, I'd say definitely check it out, because it's one of the better albums in the genre, I would say, especially for being not super well known. And last but not least, I picked up a movie. This is a David Cronenberg movie that I'd never heard of. I'm a big David Cronenberg fan, and this came out in 2003. It's called Spider. From what I can tell, I don't even think it's a horror movie, which is what we all know Cronenberg for. You got a pretty stacked cast. You got Ralph Fiennes, Miranda Richardson, Gabriel Byrne. I've read some pretty good reviews online. Not that really matters, but from what I can tell, it's more of just like maybe more of a thriller or just kind of a movie about mental health, which always hits home for me. I think maybe it's going to be, the subject matter is pretty heavy, so I think it might maybe not be the easiest movie to watch, but I'm definitely looking forward to it regardless. So anyway, I went through all that shit pretty quick, so I can go take Louis Man for a walk. He's right behind you, and he's totally waiting on me. So thanks for stopping by. He says hello, of course. We'll talk soon. Cheers.